What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Nada 2K and well back another NBA 2K25 My Team video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll be doing another remix of a recently unreleased drop that My Team. Now the Prime set was pretty good from Pink Diamonds up to Dark Matters. All right. When we look at these Opal cards, I mean, what was 2K thinking? All right. You got Norman Powell, Jason Terry, Karl Anthony Towns, and Kirk Hinrich. Enough said. Nobody's using those cards. And I just think it was a disappointing drop as far as Opal cards go. All right. So we're going to look at 2K20, look at some of the cards that they released back then. I believe that Opals were the highest tier back then. I didn't play My Team. I was actually a my career guy until about 2K21, 2K22. But let's see who I think they should have dropped, and 2K would have definitely made more money. Right, and also people would have been more hyped about the set. But like I said, the Dark Matters are fine. 100 overalls, of course, invincible. Giannis. Yeah, we saw the game last night. The Bucks fell apart again. Doc Rivers lost another game. Yeah, so they might have to move on from him. Hopefully they don't trade Giannis, but they're gonna have to move a lot of pieces around. But that's neither here nor there. So let's get into it, all right? So first thing I want to look at, one card I think that they should have dropped that people would have been happy about would have been Kristaps Porzingis, all right? They could have just released him as an Opal card and put him in the game. I think the people would have been satisfied and happy with that. Even if they made him a Boston Celtic or a New York Knicks or even a Dallas Maverick. A lot of people forget he played for the Mavericks. You know, they had him standing in the corner waiting for Luka to pass the ball, and Luka was getting his. So they didn't really utilize Porzingis, in my opinion, what they should. He should have been more of an inside-outside player. But I think, dropping him instead of some of those other cards that they released would have definitely been much more appreciated, all right? And he could play power forward as well, all right? Another card I thought that would have been a good release is Joe Caldwell. I love Joe Caldwell cards in game because he's always a good defender. He has a nice jumper and he's able to dunk really well. So even though he's only 6'5", I think just throwing him in there in the prime set would have been cool, even if he was a free card. All right, so that's another player that they could have dropped. Another player that I always like in my team is Andre Iguodala, but I don't think they have his rights. This year, hopefully they can get him and add him back into the game, but he's always a fan favorite in my team, all right? Y'all let me know if you would like any of these players to be added or who you would like to see added into the game. Another card that they had in the Prime set, I didn't realize he was in this set, was on George Mirasan. They normally don't release him until later on in 2K. He's normally pretty good. He's 7'7", as you can see, and they really don't want to counter right now to Yao Ming or Galaxy Opal Wemby. We saw they made Pink Diamond Taco really bad, which is pretty unfortunate. But hopefully later on they'll release more taller center cards in the game that are more affordable for everyone. All right, and then last but not least is my boy. Three more cards, sorry. And then Sharif Abdul-Rahim. Now he always plays well at my team, power forward, small forward. He had a really good Ruby card earlier on in the year, and they just never re-released him again. I'm not sure why 2K does that. He would even be perfect for like a flash drop on a Tuesday. Really good player build, really good animations, just a really good card overall. All right, so hopefully we'll see him added soon. And then there was two more cards, sorry. Then Lance Stevenson, all right? If you know anything about Lance will make him dance. He had those playoff moments. I believe he was on the team with Paul George, going against LeBron in the Miami Heat. But Lance Stevenson is always just a fun, good card in my team. They usually let him play point guard, so, they could have released him in the prime set as an Opal. And I think that would have been better instead of Jason Terry. Nobody's using him either. And then the last card I think that they should have released, who we haven't even seen yet, which is actually pretty interesting, is Ben Simmons. All right, they have not released a really good Ben Simmons card. I guess everybody's still looking for him, just like the Sixers and the Clippers and the Nets. Pause. But, you know, Ben Simmons is always a moneymaker for 2K, so hopefully they'll be releasing him pretty soon. 6'10" at the point guard, and in the game, he can't shoot. Now, in real life, that's another story. He refused to dunk, refused to lay the ball up, refused to shoot, but that's neither here nor there. But I just think this would be a good remix for the Prime set, and these are some of the players that I would like to see added into the set. So y'all remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what players you think should have been added into the Prime set. Thank you, and God bless.